Hi friends, this is Nate Exley with Exley Apiary. Today we're going to have an open apiary day and do a walkthrough of one hive. Last week I tried to do the whole apiary and it took me about 4 hours and there was no way I was going to video all that and post it on YouTube and expect you to watch it. So today we're just going to do one hive. It'll be one walkthrough and it's going to be what a routine maintenance checkup would look like. We're going to start with this hive right here. Let's just get going. Make sure your smoker's going good. Gently puff the entrance. Make sure your smoke is not hot. We're not trying to burn the bees. We're just trying to give them a little heads up that you're coming in. Don't smoke them excessively. It'll cause them to get over aggressive eventually. And it also can really burn them up just having smoke in their eyes. Smoke them gently on the top. You'll notice that these hives are not like your standard Langstroth hives. They use standard Langstroth equipment as in frames, but I'm upcycling trashed styrofoam coolers for my equipment because I don't have enough cash right now to buy more woodware. So styrofoam is what we're going with. Take off the lid, make sure all your movements are slow and smooth. When you take off the lid, watch for hive beetles. They tend to like to congregate right underneath the lid, and it's a good moment to take account of how many hive beetles you have in there. Gently smoke the top. Take out your handy dandy hive tool, and you're going to take out the first frame at the outermost edge. Taking out this first frame will allow you some space to maneuver and take out the other frames. I can already see just looking down from the top that this hive is doing a great job of building out their comb. And you'll see that in just a second as soon as I take this out. Yeah, nice light comb. And this is on the end frame. This box has 9 frames in it. Usually a normal Langstroth box is 10 frames. And they don't typically build out the end frames. But in this hive they are, so that's a good sign. They're industrious. That's what I want to see. In a routine checkup, you're trying to see what their character is. Are they docile? You see, I can check with my bare hands. They're not attacking my hands. This hive is actually a queen from the bee farm. It's a VSH queen, a Varroa sensitive hygienic queen, but they're also doing a great job of being very docile, so I like the look of that. One thing that I'm going to look for specifically here though are swarm cells, because I have found these VSH queens tend to be a little swarmy. This hive had a little difficulty because she lost her queen. This hive lost their queen, and a laying worker took her place. And what that means is that one of the worker bees decided that she would step up and lay eggs in place of the queen. Whenever that happens though, you get a lot of drone brood, like you can see here. All these raised cells, that's drone brood. They're raised because the drones are bigger bees. The bees make bigger cells for them. I'm going to uncap some of them because I actually do not want those drones roaming around my apiary and mating with any queens that I might have coming out. I want to control my genetics, and that's just me. If it was up to you and you're just starting, I wouldn't worry about it. But for this checkup, this is part of the maintenance I'm going to do. I smoke them gently. I don't want to accidentally rake the bees off there. This is an uncapping fork. You'll see it used in when you're extracting your honey. I'm going to use it here to mess up these drone cells, so that way the bees will take out the drones and dispose of them. Make sure those drones don't hatch. So anyways, back to a laying worker. You know that you have a laying worker in the hive when you see more than 1 egg per cell, or the laying pattern is extremely sporadic, aka there's not a nice even dispersal of eggs. There's kind of a few here and a few there. And the laying worker will only lay drones. Remember, she's not a queen, so she hasn't been mated. her reproductive organs are not fully developed, so she cannot produce good fertile eggs. So all that she lays is going to be drones, which is why I have all this drone brood that I'm having to deal with right now. I'm going to stop there for the sake of the video. This is going to be more work than I was anticipating. I think I'll just have to let them hatch out. Another thing that I might do is put a queen excluder on the front of the hive. That'll prohibit the drones from leaving the hive. But then I'm going to have those hungry drones just sitting in there eating up the stores. So I'll have to sit and think on this a little more. Moving on to more routine checkup things, you're looking for eggs. Up here in the top corner are eggs. I don't know if we'd be able to see them, especially in this lighting, but we can try. If you look down at the bottom of these cells, they look like little rice grains. And there's one per cell, and they're pretty evenly distributed. So that's a good laying pattern, and that tells me that there's a healthy queen in here, which is good. I spent $45 on her. There should be. She better have survived. But let's go find her. If I was just, if this hive hadn't had a laying worker, I might just stop there. Because I know the queen's there. I know she's laying. I don't know if they're about to swarm, which is a reason I'm going to keep going. But if this hive was smaller, and I already knew that they weren't swarming, they weren't going to swarm, then I could just stop there and move on to the next hive, and that would be it for that routine check. But I'm going to keep going because I need to know if they're going to try to build queens, if they're going to try to swarm. Because they're a decent sized hive, they're very populous, they're happy, their queen is laying. They're about to have a buttload of drones coming out, so they might need more food. Man, I really wish I could do something about these drones. I do not need them in my hive. And I don't want them out and about mating with any of my queens. I do have a couple hives who have queen cells that are going to hatch out soon, and I don't want those genetics from that previous worker, because the previous queen who was in this hive was not one of desirable character. So I don't want her genetics being perpetuated in my apiary via these drones. But it looks like I might not have a choice. I might just have to do some requeening later. More eggs. This is looking good. More eggs. Very good. Wow, she has good aim. She is just sticking them right in the middle of each cell. I like it. There's pollen in here. See the bright colors at the bottom of the cells? It's the pollen, the bee bread. You want to see that? That's good. That means that they can be putting that towards baby bees. Bee bread is necessary for making brood, expanding the brood nest. So we see eggs, we see brood. We haven't seen the queen yet, but that's okay. We know she's there because there's eggs. The eggs tell us that she was there at least as of 2 days ago. Remember, very gentle, slow. Any sudden movements will jolt bees from the hive, cause them to get excited, and direct their attention towards you, which I don't want them to be worried about me. I want them to be worried about their own business, so that way I can see what they're up to. Okay, here's a little queen cup, which is not the same as a queen cell, but you always check them, because if that queen cup has an egg in the bottom of it, it means it's going to turn into a queen cell. But there's no egg down there, so we're all okay. No queen cell. They just build this for backups, just in case they need a queen cell quick. These guys are doing great. I love how docile they are. These are the kind of hives I could spend all day in. It's just so fascinating and even a little bit soothing to just let your curiosity roam through these frames. There's so many cool questions, cool things to see, questions to ask, things to learn. It doesn't really get old. Another beautiful frame of eggs. Oh, and here's our beautiful queen. Look at her. She's very calm, just walking around. She's not frantic. or sporadic. She doesn't particularly care for the light, so it looks like she's trying to find a way to escape right now. But that's good. Sometimes you can tell the character of her daughters just by watching how she behaves. Now, she won't be aggressive because she's the queen and she's got to save herself at all costs in order to save the hive. But she's not going to, if she's walking around calmly and just busy with her work, it's a good sign that the rest of the bees will be relatively calm too. All right, baby, I'm going to put you back. I've seen what I need to see. There's no swarm cells. Queen is there. They're doing good. The last thing I'm going to do is a pest check. Very carefully putting back that frame with the queen. I don't want to squish her. I've had a problem with hive beetles in my apiary, and I've been testing out Swiffer pads to see how well they work on controlling the hive beetle population, and I've actually been very pleased with the results. I've used them for about 4 weeks now, and compared to the Better Beetle oil trap that I use, they are catching hands down more beetles than those traps ever caught for me, and I've only ever used those traps before, so I'm going to stick with Swiffer pads. I'm setting these out because I need a little bit of room to get the Swiffer pad out. Notice I haven't had to use the smoker again. That's good. You don't want to use a lot of smoke on the hives. Seasoned beekeepers, if you're watching their videos, you'll notice they're much more adept at handling their frames. They're probably going a little faster than I am right now. That's okay. You'll get there. Don't rush it. This is a learning video, and that's why I want to go slow. Here's my Swiffer pad. Shake some of these bees off. So, look at all those beetles. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that's a bee leg. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's just on this side. Oh, nope, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Let's call it 16. So the idea with these Swiffer pads is that the beetles go to them to hide, but they get caught up in the fibers of the Swiffer pad and they can't get out. So they basically die there, or they get stuck there, and I can pull them out and kill them myself. This has done a great job of controlling my beetle population for me. Let's go ahead and squish them. Ah, satisfying crunch. There are a couple bees on here too. They will get themselves out. Whenever I pull out these Swiffer pads, I have not found large amounts of dead bees on them, so I'm okay still using them in the hive. If it's just a couple bees that get caught and can't get out, then it's worth the sacrifice to me. For the amount of beetles it gets rid of, it's definitely worth it. Put a fresh one in. There you go, girls. Take it away. Now, because this hive is doing so good, and just for a frame of reference, it's May right now. Because this hive is doing so well, and because of the time of the season it is, we need to add supers. They're going to grow. All those eggs are going to put out workers, and those workers are going to do something. If I don't give them the space, they're going to do it elsewhere. I did not bring a super out here to the apiary with me, so I'll have to do it off camera. We're gently going to smoke them back down. We got to close them up, and I don't want to squash them. There we go. Push those frames back together. Now we're going to go back to the one we started with and took out at the beginning. Gently put it back in. Again, watch those bees at the edges. We don't want to roll them on the sides. Gently put it back in. And there you go. That's a routine checkup. You're looking for the queen, the eggs. You're also looking to see what the hive is doing. This hive in particular is not swarming, thankfully. It is building up and getting ready to really put a lot of energy into either making a new hive via swarming or building this hive bigger. I want them to build this hive bigger. If they swarm, I'm going to have to figure out how to split them. It's more work on my end. I don't want to have to deal with that. So after the video stops, I'm going to put a super on here and we'll see if they fill it out. But this has been Nate Exley with Exley Apiary. I'm going to try to do an open apiary every week. For more videos, especially for beginning beekeepers, if you're looking for just a primer on bees, bee biology, how to get started in beekeeping, I actually have a Beekeeping 101 course that is free. You can go through it. It's not interactive like this. We're not dealing with live bees. We're sitting down and kind of going through the details of what makes this tick and how we as beekeepers can manage this appropriately in beginner lingo, in layman terms. So check it out. I'll put a link in the description. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching and putting my videos out there. I will see y'all next time.